Hey everybody, Mando here. Welcome back to another video in my series, What If Fortnite Had a Pokémon Region? This is the third installment in this series, where I create Pokémon inspired by the hit game Fortnite. If you were listening, you would have heard that this is the third episode in this series, and I'll be discussing the second part of the early root Pokémon, that being the early root mammal, dog, and the Pika clone. If you haven't already watched the previous two episodes, make sure you do so now, and whilst you're there, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any new content. Finally, before we begin, I do have an account on Instagram where I share my artwork, so if you're curious to check that out, go for it, and maybe give me a follow whilst you're there. Anyways, enough blabbering, let's see some new designs. Firstly, I'll introduce the early root mammal, which, in this case, I decided to go for a pig. Now, I understand that Lechonk is also an early root mammal, and it's a pig, but it does make sense to reuse the mammals. It has been done before in other Fakemon regions, and plus, who doesn't love a cute little piggy? The primary inspiration for the evolution line is the Porter items, that being the Porter Bunker, the Porter Fort, and Porter Fortress. So without further hesitation, let me present to you Fort, the wild boar Pokemon. It is a normal ground type. Supposedly, Fort have nerves of steel, enduring even the toughest of blows. In battle, it will run in head first, with high disregard for its own safety, as it aims to protect its friends from oncoming attacks. However, if it crashes into an opponent tougher than itself or anything that could withstand a full force blow, it will knock itself out. It's got the ability Thick Fat with the hidden ability of Battle Armor. The additional inspiration which I may have forgotten to mention was that they're also inspired by the wild boars, since it also makes sense as an early root mammal. The execution of not only this design but the rest of the evolutions made me quite happy, and I'm very proud of how they ended up looking as a whole. If your boss is a female, at level 25 it will evolve into Battalion, the wild boar Pokemon. It remains a normal ground type. If a Bolt is female, it will evolve into Battalion. Battalion act very motherly towards smaller Pokemon, while still playing territorial against larger, more intimidating foes. Rather than crashing into the attacker, it will slam its hide into the ground, causing the earth to rupture around it. This alone might not be enough to scare away its perpetrator, but it can startle it, allowing its younglings to attack. It has identical abilities to Bolt, but it now has the additional ability called Armored Up, in which if the user is hit with a steel or rock type move, their defense and special defense will be increased by one stage, but their speed will be lowered by a stage. Finally, if your boss is a male, at level 25 it will evolve into Fortress, the Pig Fortress Pokemon. Instead of being a normal ground type, it is now a normal steel type to reference the Porter Fortress. If a boss is male, it will evolve into Fortress. Fortress is much heftier than Battalion, carrying the weight of an entire squadron of Fort on its back. The armor that encases its body is enough to withstand an explosion, and if provoked, the armor it wears can lock into the floor, where it can slice the earth around it, sometimes causing the attacker to flee. It keeps the same abilities as its female counterpart, including Armored Up. The shinies for this evolution line are inspired by the metal material, rather than a clay or brick look. Hopefully these designs are to your fancy. I think they came out great. We move on from pigs to the big bad wolf, literally. The early root dog is inspired by the Chrome Wolf, introduced in the final season of Chapter 3, underwhelming season by the way. Anyway, here is Puppinch, the Howl Pokemon, and it's a pure fighting type. The fur on their bodies, despite its oily appearance, is actually dry and fluffy, allowing trainers to pet it freely. If provoked, however, Puppinch will latch onto the attacker with its hidden metal jaws, which it uses to clamp down and apply pressure to the victim. It will not let go unless it deems itself truly unable to battle further. It has the ability Steel Worker and the hidden ability Chrome Jaws. If the user uses a contact move, no matter what type the opponent's Pokemon is, it will become poisoned. If the opponent is a Steel type Pokemon, this will also deal additional poison damage. It might sound a little bit overpowered, but then again this Pokemon is inspired by the Chrome effect, allowing the player, nearby animals, and builds to become chromed, allowing them to move swiftly through the map and allowing them to phase through builds. At level 20, after learning Metal Burst, Puppinch will evolve into Chromor, the Chrome Wolf Pokemon, and it's a steel fighting type. Its lower jaw is encased with a material that this planet has not harnessed yet. Once its jaw has put enough pressure on its foe, Chromor will inject a metallic liquid into the opponent, causing painful itching and scratching. A couple of confirmed cases have seen Pokemon completely dissolve into this chrome-like material, which can cause horrifying trauma to their trainers. It keeps the same abilities as its pre-evolved form, that being Steel Worker and Chrome Jaws, and the shinies for this evolution line reflect that of rusted metal. I adore how these two came out, I'm incredibly proud of them, and I have to give some credit to WhispyDex on Instagram, a fantastic artist and good friend of mine, so make sure to go and check them out too. Anyways, that's all of the designs for today. Be sure to, nah, I'm only joking. There's actually one more design that I haven't showcased yet, and that is the Pika clone of the region. This Pika clone does not evolve, so it might not be the most useful later on, but that doesn't make it a boring design. So without further ado, here is Pika, the EMP Pokemon, an electric type. These Pokemon are actually rather rare, only making an appearance if their homes are in danger. Heavy machinery can be completely stopped with a single attack from EMPika, allowing their habitats to be destroyed at all times. If a horde of at least 10 EMPikas strike at once, the sheer power of the discharge alone can cause major cities to black out for several weeks. It has the ability Volt Absorb and the hidden ability Disrupt. If the user is hit with a contact move, the opponent will not be able to use that move again on their next turn. This also grants the user a slight speed boost. The move will become available again the turn afterwards. This design takes primary inspiration from Pika clones, so the design doesn't exactly reflect any real-life rodent, but is also inspired by plasma globes and the EMP item. Finally, the shiny is a red colour, no idea why I chose it, but at the time I thought it was a nice execution, so I'm choosing to keep it. And just like that, we are finished with the early root Pokemon. That's 15 unique designs already designed, and many, many more to come. Hopefully you've enjoyed this longer length video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and go check out mine and Wispy's Instagram accounts if you want to see more designs. Thanks again, Wispy, for your help with the Pup Inch line, and I will see you all in the next video.